Wisconsin. I lived there for a year.
Shut up,
Upstate
were
New
you?
York. Yeah, it was.
My whole
Are you from Wisconsin?
Yeah, my whole family's from Janesville.
Oh, okay, awesome. I don't know where that is, but yeah, I live in
It's about 40 minutes from Madison. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I've been to Milwaukee, to see Panic a bunch now, but I've really only been to Madison. I think Panic played there once in an outdoor venue there. I went to do that, but I've never really gone to see the town. So at some point, I would love to go visit Madison, my birth town. But, I always call myself a cheesehead, that's for sure.
Yeah, same. My family, for the most part, like, I don't have my grandparents anymore, but all my aunts and uncles and cousins, they're all up there. So my mom, she'd had enough of the winters though. She was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah. The winters are real for sure. I imagine.
Did you go to school there or did you?
No. So I lived there a year, I didn't. And so then we moved to upstate New York to a little town called Endwell, which only one other person has ever heard of it, but it's near kind of Binghamton area. And then when I was 6 is when we moved down to Athens, Georgia for my dad's job.
Shut up.
And so that's how I ended up in Athens, and I grew up there. Didn't leave Georgia until I was 24, moved to Colorado, and then did a good 13 years there, and now I'm in Orange Beach, Alabama.
Okay, so I'm going to try to date your dates in Athens without, I know better than to ask a woman how old she is. I grew up in Athens.
Oh, sure.
I grew up in Athens too.
Oh.
So Chase Street Elementary, Bernie Harris Lyons Middle School, Clark Central for a year, and then finished out at Oconee County.
Oh, wait, you're breaking up a little. I'm sorry.
Oh, what?
Can you start that up?
Yeah, so I was Chase Street Elementary, Bernie Harris Lyons Middle School.
Bernie Harris, I forget about that one.
Yeah.
No offense.
No, it's okay. Clark Central for a year and then finished up at Oconee County.
That's great. Yeah, Barnett Shoals. My parents still live right across the street neighborhood there. Elementary Hillsman for a year until they bussed us over to Clark Middle to finish the last 2 years. Then back over to Cedar Shoals. I graduated from Cedar Shoals.
And to make it even weirder, my mother still has a house on Barnett Shoals, just off Barnett Shoals Road.
Oh, wow.
What is going on, Gretchen Voss?
Is it before Snapfinger or after Snapfinger or?
She's at the very end. Do you remember when Green Hills Country Club was out there?
I used to go there. My dad was a member for a while.
All right, so when you take Barnett Shoals out and it ends, and you have to go right or left.
Yes.
Take a left, and she's the first house down on the right. God, this is weird.
Okay, that is fun. Yeah, I moved from Georgia in the year of 2004, I think is when I departed Georgia.
Oh,
yeah.
This is so weird.
I'm 48.
Okay.
Almost 48. God, I keep aging myself 6 months. I'm 47 now.
Well, this would be a good a time as any to talk about one of the things that I wanted to ask you about was the marijuana industry, and I think you'd shared very briefly in text that you were involved in that industry out in Colorado. How did you get into that field? And I'm a proponent, of course. Tell me about that. What'd you do?
Yes. That was such an adventure, and I got into growing marijuana, before it was, legal. Let's say that.
Right.
Before people were smart about it and realized it was a healthy plant. So, being as a dance major at UGA, when I finally found Widespread Panic. And then through that, met someone, we started traveling, seeing shows, and ended up taking care of this person's plants because they kind of punked out and they didn't want to take care of them. And that kind of got me into it, which, it was, I'm definitely protected. I've got, spirits protecting me, but grew for a while in Georgia and then grew and moved to Colorado and met someone out there, another person I was dating who I ended up marrying. And we were just both smoking so much and we're like, okay, well, we should, probably grow our own. And so did that for a few years. And then the medical came about. and it was like the Wild West. It was so crazy. And you could grow weed in your basement and go sell it at a dispensary, and that was legal for a little while. So it was nuts. People, definitely different rules than it is now. It was more fun, let's just say, for sure. Yeah, I just, and then was scared to sort of come out of the closet because I, kept it on the, kept it under wraps for so long. Wanted to see how it went, and everything was going well. I went to a yoga class, and my friend that was teaching was growing at a dispensary. And so that was all medical at the time. It was right in downtown Denver, which at the time was not the thriving downtown that it is right now. It was definitely just businesses and kind of bleak and gloomy a little bit. But they had a med dispensary on Wazee Street, Lodo. And so we ended up bringing some of our product down and got the job there. And it was so slow. So we grow this great ganja and, have to hold on to it. And it got to cure really, really well because it wasn't like going off the shelves like this. We had some patients and we were in business, but it definitely wasn't, booming. So we got a great reputation for the really good weed we were growing. And then when we got to go legal, we did half medical, half rec. And then I think by the end, they're not even around anymore. They closed it down a couple of years ago. They'd ended up going 100% rec. The med was kind of phasing out. But yeah, it was just a strange, I got into it, just thrown into it, literally, literally thrown into it.
What?
At a young age. I didn't have a driver's license. I was down in Americus, Georgia.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And there I was like, okay, well, what you going to do? So I fell in love with the plant. I didn't even smoke that much before I started working with it. And that was a real adventure. We had some definite run-ins with cops. One morning I woke up, there was a whole yard full of police officer cars from different states, but different, sheriff, different counties, blah, blah. I don't know. It was weird. They set up some sort of substation next to the house. Cultivating it. I mean, it was crazy times. It was crazy. But like I said, I'm protected. And, I think I was supposed to be there because, once I got to Denver and once, this movement happened, and marijuana all of a sudden, stopped being taboo. I was part of this, beautiful thing that people would come in and with tears and crying. And I'm so grateful for this. I don't have to take my opioids anymore. I feel like myself again. Right. I'm living my life again with, pain management that's not killing my soul, basically, So, it drove me. And the energy work too, that I started to incorporate all my energy work into the plants, and I would chant while I was working with them. And, I really felt that the energy I was putting in was going out to whomever was taking part in that marijuana. So it was a real drive. It really motivated me. It was a really neat time.
Educate me, Gretchen, because I've actually never really done the research to know the difference. But recreational and medicinal, is that just a difference in THC levels? What constitutes medical?
And it might be different now, and I'm sure that it's different for every state. But in Colorado, which I think has the best model, of course, it's the same marijuana. It's just either you allot it to be grown for medical or you allot it to be grown for the recreational. Oh. So you're getting the same marijuana. But if you get an edible, they have a higher strength in the edibles, in the tinctures and all of that stuff. You can make that more potent. So that more potent stuff was sold over on the medical. And then it was less expensive. And then you could get more flour and more usually with your med card. You were allotted a certain amount of flour, which was more than you could usually get. I think it was just an ounce of rec a day you could get.
When did you say you left Denver?
So moved to Orange Beach in 2018, April 1st of 2018.
This is kind of a two-part statement question. I remember there was a show that used to be on TV that was about that region in Denver, and I think they focused on like Breckenridge and a couple other areas, but it was almost like a reality show, but it was centered around dispensaries and the people that worked there and the business. And there was a movement that was coming where corporations were starting to invest billions of dollars because, they're not going to legalize it until those people can get their hands in the pot. But did you see some of that before you left? Like big corporations building.
Oh, yeah, I saw it. I was a part of it. I was a part of a couple of them coming up in Aspen.
Okay.
Can't remember the exact names of them. That's okay. It's not great. They didn't have their shit together. So, I saw, people wanting to come in with big money, big investment, big grows, but not loving the plant, only being there for the profit, not understanding, the plant and the cure process and what makes weed actually, pleasant and it's most potent to smoke. They're just trying to rush it, and get the money. And then not only that, they're trying to rush it and expand and put another grow in another state and get their license in this state. And so I saw this. I didn't like it at all. Of a bunch of people that didn't have their solid ground to stand on, trying to expand just in the name of making money.
Right.
And it was really kind of gross. And then I worked for one up in Illinois for a while, and they just, again, it was just for profit, and it was so. Bleh, I don't know. I didn't last long. I got a speeding ticket leaving that place for 100 miles an hour. And I never went back. I was like, oh God, I can't do it. Because, starting from scratch, and people didn't know about growing weed. And they have definitely a lot of people have a different idea about it. And try to make it like, we made a machine, but you have to make a machine according to the plant, not according to your profit.
Mm-hmm. Well, and a lot of people, and you may be able to add some color to this, but a lot of people don't know is that, in my understanding, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but so there was a guy in the mid 1860s to the mid 1900s. His name was William Randolph Hearst, and he was a big newspaper guy, owned dozens of newspapers around New York and San Francisco. He had a big part in demonizing marijuana because he knew that hemp was not good for his business, his paper business. Now, I thought that he had a role in that black and white movie that came out ages ago, Reefer Madness. But he was largely responsible for the misinformation around marijuana. And like there was a concerted effort to give marijuana a bad name because of the durability of hemp. But you probably have.
Oh, I would totally believe that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but that totally it makes 100% sense to me.
It's crazy to think that there's still people in prison for marijuana. That would drive me crazy if I was locked up, and just knowing that there's, we're not catching up fast enough to get those people their lives back for something that they should have never been locked up for. Anyway, I'm going on a rant.
No, I agree with you. Absolutely. Yeah. It's, the legalization definitely had made some big shifts. And yeah, like you said, we're still catching up in society, though. I don't think it takes that much to like, okay, you're in here just for marijuana. Bye.
Right.
See ya. If that's it, if there's no criminal, if there's no, not criminal, but violent, if there's nothing else with it, it's just for some ganja, shoot. I think it's pretty obvious. But
so two things I want to ask you about. I'll lead into it by telling you, I remember going to Red Rocks to see Panic. The first time I'd ever been to Red Rocks, I believe it was either 98 or 99. And you're right. I remember like having to look for it. Like it wasn't out in the open yet. It's so weird to visit that town now and just walk in a store, a really, really nice store, and like just go down the line, like getting an education. And I remember the first time I walked into a place like that, I was kind of whispering to the guy, and he was like, dude, it's cool.
Yeah, I know.
But I was going to ask you.
Yeah, people come in just to look at it and be like, you don't have to be scared. It's okay.
That's right.
Because we had some plants growing. We were grandfathered in our little dispensary. We were down in a basement, real mom and pop. We grew in the back of the store, so it was very different. We had plants people could come in and look at a little window and see them, so that was really special. But yeah.
When was you and I both have this widespread panic affliction. When was the first time you ever saw those guys? Do you remember and kind of remember what the feeling was about the music that drew you to them?
Well, I grew up in Athens, so I grew up listening to them a lot. I was a dancer, so I was always in ballet practice. I remember my friends going to like Super Jam and all those fun times, and I could never go. I was always tied down. And so, when I finally got to my first show, it was Lakewood, 1997.
Time to go to work again. Once more I'll be the sunrise. Dark breeze out my dark rays from the world to my face. I could have made like that poor. Long as water, chilly well water. Come on, give me some young, you take it down water. Breathe the city to the bottom of his lungs last night. I lead his natural body to the top to gain his might. Red roots are cutting loose hair. No blue he riled up the road. Home come the sunshine. In rain 3 weeks from long as water, tell me water.
Wow, yeah, probably more overwhelming, you know. Oh, I remember being in the parking lot. That's like one of the, I don't really remember the show. I remember I loved chili water. And I don't remember people throwing water at that time. I think but I don't know. And but I remember just hearing that, you know, the bass line and all of that. I was just like, oh yeah, I really love that. Yeah, I remember just all the people and, you know, I think the vibe of it all, just me taking it in, you know, because I forget, I went to an Allman Brothers show. I think before I went to a Pearl Jam show and Allman Brothers show before I went to my first Widespread Panic show. And Pearl Jam show, I don't even remember that. The Allman Brothers show, I remember not knowing how to dance because I was a classically trained dancer. So like the idea of like letting loose, I didn't know what to do. Even though like I danced to 80s music, I danced after school to like cheesy, you know, Paula Abdul growing up, Boy George Michael, you know, whatever.
Oh, that shit was
all of it. Michael Jackson.
That was all my jam too. I'll admit it.
Right. You know, but you know, when I was all of a sudden surrounded by, you know, all these people, and we had freedom to move in any way that I wanted to, it was incapacitating to me. It gave me a bit of anxiety, I remember. And so probably, you know, then seeing the panic thing, you know, I think I was more inhibited for sure. Probably took it in a lot more than I participated in what was happening, but it didn't take long. I saw them not that much longer until I quit school and was like going to all kinds of shows, following them everywhere. So whatever it was, it drew me in, you know, and I wanted to keep going. I wanted to go, you know, at first I think because, you know, just to check it out, it was the thing to do and I liked the music. And then it was just, you know, I was in it. I was, you know, growing and dropped out of, you know, the mainstream society or whatever. And we were just doing this sort of alternative lifestyle, which I loved that.
It's very liberating.
And yes, once you can get over it, because, you know, like I explain to my clients a lot, when you have this, you know, people, when they're going through transitions or they move through something, and then all of a sudden you have all these possibilities in front of you, right? It can be overwhelming, and it almost like can make you freeze, and you're like, well, I don't know what to do because there's so many options, right? Kind of opened that for you, like, you know, you have the power to choose how you want to live your life. You know, that was the base, you know, foundation for me, I think, continuing to make decisions that maybe went against what mainstream would want or my grandma would want me to do, but that felt right in my heart, you know.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great segue. And probably a perfect time to talk about this. So you know Priscilla Tofty, right?
Yes.
So she was the one that told me to get in touch with you, and we had done some breath work together, and I was really impressed and felt really good after that session. Tell me a little bit about what you do and how you got into it, and kind of what the mission is for this practice that you teach.
Yes. Reiki literally means universal life force energy, and it was founded in the 1920s. This particular practice, energy work practice, founded by a man in Japan, Mikao Usui. He was looking for a way to help his friends and neighbors that were suffering, and he went out. He was a businessman, but took a break from life, went on a mountaintop and kind of sought answers and sat there until they came. And what came through was this system, I would say, of energy work, light work, along with some symbols that came to him in those moments of deep meditation. So yes. So in Reiki, traditional Usui Reiki is, you know, traditionally supposed to be taught orally. He had masters under him that eventually came out west and expanded it. Now there's a lot of different kinds of Reiki. But I am about 9 masters away from Dr. Usui. So I just keep it on the traditional side. When I moved to Denver, there was a point in time where I had bought a house and I had 3 jobs maybe. And things just were really stressful for me. And I didn't have a lot of resources. I didn't have a lot of people. And so when things got stressful, I would lay on the ground. And I just started breathing in and breathing out, imagining myself getting filled up with light and then releasing anything that was heavy as I exhaled. I eventually, took in a mantra with that. I would say, I am light, I am love, as I took each breath. And really had this visual of light entering my body, filling my cells, kind of just like not vanishing, the physical, if you will, because we are really all light. We look solid, but we really are not. We're vibration. But just that visual of like coming into light, letting it all go and allowing that to help you feel better. And so probably a year down the road, probably not even that long, I was doing a modeling job and I was talking to the makeup artist, and she was an older woman, and we started talking about like real stuff like energy work and spirit and music. And so I was like, oh, she's amazing. And so she asked me to come to her, or she said, she did reflexology and healing touch, it was called. And so I went to a few energy sessions at her home. And I had read a couple books at the time. I grew up Catholic, but I didn't really know what was going on. Never got confirmed, didn't understand it. So I was kind of in between, what I believed in, the big picture and things. And, had read this book about, the distinction between the spirit and the body. So, I had the idea there was this difference between the spirit and the body. I wanted to believe it. But I didn't know it yet. And so I went to these energy sessions, and holy cow, the very first one, I'm getting goosebumps right now, I had an out-of-body experience. I looked down at myself. I felt this huge sigh of relief. And the words I heard were, "It's going to be okay." It was so simple like that. And I was like, whoa. And from that moment on, just like, there is definitely a spirit beyond this physical. And it changed everything. It changed my concept of life, of why we're here. Definitely believe in reincarnation 100%. Had some past life. I went to like 2 other sessions with her and had a few past life regressions during those sessions. A life in Europe with cobblestones, and I was really poor, a life as a Native American, a life out in the country, it felt like, out west, hanging laundry in the breeze, and then touching a pyramid was the other one. That was really cool. But wow. So that started, I was just like, whoa, it just totally changed my life. And so then when I was looking not too long after that, of course, I want to be a practitioner. What can I do? And so I sat in my little house in Conifer, Colorado on the internet and just explored healing modalities and found Reiki. It was not popular at all, but there was a practitioner in Denver, and so I was like, this is it, because it's the light. You don't need anything. You don't need tools. You don't need props. It doesn't cost a bunch of money. All the person receiving the Reiki, first of all, has to give the practitioner permission, and then they just have to be open to the healing, and then be responsible for, the things that come through. So yeah, I was like, well, this is what I was doing on my floor. I totally believe in it. And I went and took, got the level 1, the level 2, and here I got the master. I waited a long time to get the master because I was growing weed for a long time. So, I didn't want to be a broke-ass healer.
Right.
I like money. But, yeah. So, but yeah, it all shifted, and Mark has given me the opportunity to explore Reiki 100% here. And so I quit growing. I quit going up to traveling to Illinois and September of 2019 and committed the next year just to seeing if the distance Reiki worked, because here in Orange Beach, I'm not, it's not a huge client base. So because energy has no bounds, we learn distance Reiki as well. And so I developed a system for the distance Reiki. I recorded several series of different meditations, guided meditations that people could listen to. And then, basically talk to people beforehand, usually talk beforehand, sometimes didn't. They would listen to the meditation on their end. We come back together. I pull a few cards, oracle cards. I have a certification in that as well, over the energy of the session, and we talk about it, or I send it to them, over, digitally or whatever. But, kind of I'm handing them back their information. And so before I connect with someone, things will come through, colors, words, symbols, and that will oftentimes really resonate with the person once I talk to them. I say this was coming through. They're like, yeah, that really feels like what I'm feeling, what I'm working through. And then we'll do the session, and then the cards usually really reflect the energy of the session, the theme. I'm really, now that I've been doing this for several years, I really get a theme of what's going on. It's really cool. And how the words, and you get the same words over and over again. It can be just so magical. And I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about how magical it is.
That's
and then it's awesome. And I didn't know how this was going to go. Like the psychic stuff that has come with it is really amazing. Like, I've had a few clients I never ever even talked to, and, somehow knew where they were going on vacation and that their cat just came home. And, it's not me knowing. It's not me knowing. Let me say that. As a Reiki practitioner, I'm not healing anybody. I'm a conduit. I'm a conduit for healing energy. And so I'm going to tap into Reiki energy, into universal life force energy, which we all have access to. And it's all knowing. It knows what to do to heal your foot more than Gretchen does, And so we just have to open to the energy. And that's what I do. And then I simply, give back what came through, the symbols, the animals, the words, colors, places, just all kinds of stuff. And it usually makes a whole lot of sense to the person. And that's their information. That's what, either it gives them confirmation, affirmation, or things to work on. Nutrient deficiencies, things like that. Physical ailments, definitely, as well, can come up and be relieved, even through the distance Reiki.
I was going to ask you, is there a certain type of person that may be suffering from something that you see more often, or is it widespread? No pun intended.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of the people I work with seem to be empathic, and I work with men and women, but overall, the overall theme of the people I work with for the most part is, empathic people.
Now,
people
what does that mean? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, empathic, yeah. So you're taking on others' emotions, feeling others' emotions for them. Highly sensitive, highly empathic people can really get, burdened, can get depleted by overwhelming emotions that are not even theirs. Yes. That's where, energy work, especially for those people that are sensitive or empathic, is so necessary, because you've got to clean off that energy. And that's, Reiki first, it's a clearing. It clears the chakra system. Have you heard of the energetic chakra system?
Very lightly, high level.
Okay. So yeah, we've got more than 7, but we work with the main 7 chakras that run from the base of the spine to the top of the head. The one at the top of the head is our crown, and it actually connects us, to the higher realms of energy when it's running in a healthy and balanced way. The one all the way at the bottom roots us, roots us to the ground. It helps to keep us alive. It feeds our most, primal needs, which, has our ego there. Our ego helps to keep us alive, reminds us we have to eat and do things,
right.
So it's a tool when it's in balance. And so then from in between, you've got one on your heart, you've got one on your throat, you've got your third eye center. I know you may have heard of that, or, you'll often see that illumination on someone's forehead in art or something like that. So that's, regarding that third eye center, that's where the intuition sits. Those moments where like you're leaving to go to the airport and you get this vision of a raincoat and you ignore your vision and you go and you get on your trip and it rains the whole time. That was your intuition. And so people want to make it so like woo woo woo. You're into whatever. No, your intuition is a tool. It is a tool that will help make your daily life easier if it is balanced and moving in the right direction, clear and balanced. And so then you've got your throat chakra. So your ability to communicate. You probably have a very strong balanced throat chakra because this is something that you do. You're using it all the time. You easily communicate with people. So you're probably very balanced there, and then we've got the heart. The heart is a big chakra. And when it's broken, your whole body hurts. When you've got a broken heart, that's energetic, but it can physically tear you down.
For sure. Yeah.
That's how strong our energy system is. And then under that, real quickly, you've got your power center. So your personal, we want to have that working strong. So we feel good about ourselves, motivated. Under that, you've got your emotions, your creativity, like I said, your roots. So when all those are working together, clear, balanced, connecting together, then it's so much easier to go through life when you can speak your truth from your heart, when you can follow your intuition without going back and forth, and it makes your life easier, when you can stay connected to something higher, bigger than just yourself, so you feel connected and to stay rooted. All these things are very important in our daily existence, and so Reiki is one of the ways that we can clear and balance these energy systems in our body. Sorry, it's a lot, but I love it so much. Oh my god.
No, I'm in a situation right now, and I'm going to tie this to your career change. I've been in a career for a while. I also dropped out of school and have just been in sales forever, and I know it's not what I'm supposed to be doing. Like there's something else out there for me. But it's scary to think about taking the leap because I'm so financially dependent on the money. So there's a lot of pieces to it. But I know that I'm supposed to be doing something different. So my question to you was going to be, when you made the decision to pursue your passion, was it scary for you? How did you overcome the fear of failure? Not to bring a dark shadow over the conversation, but I'm curious to know kind of what that path looked like for you and how you mitigated those fears.
Oh gosh. Yeah, well, it was pretty devastating, honestly, financially.
Yeah.
Let me just say, I couldn't, if I was doing this without a partner, I'd have to be doing it much differently. I think I could make it work full time, but it would be far more, I think, taxing.
There'd have to be some sacrifices.
Just having to work with, right now I try to work with one person a day because sessions can be a couple of hours. Like I said, I'm tapping into their energy before, and then it's hard and we go deep. We go really deep. And so it's hard to just jump from that to the next person and go, okay, hey, yeah, right. Here I am, fresh and clean, ready to go. And I can. If I had to, I would have. I started this, I remember investing my, last few $1,000s into an assistant, which looking back, definitely should have done that. But no, I should have, because she forced me to go online and do these Reiki sessions during COVID. That's right when I was announcing my new company, was during COVID. And so I had great hopes for it. I had, like I said, I took that year before to do a bunch of distance sessions to see if it worked. I was not charging very much. And once I saw that it was going really well, I was like, this is going to go great. I had everything automated so people would book online and I'd be there for their appointment, and would have been a much more restrictive lifestyle. But that's what I was ready. I kind of had it systemed out like I did with marijuana. And I was ready to go, and I invested, and I quit my other job, and I was like, here we go. I had so much faith. And then COVID happened, and it totally went to shit. Nobody called me. Nobody's spending money on Reiki during COVID. Everybody needs it, but they're freaked out.
Right.
They did my free stuff, though. They liked what they were seeing online. So, it did turn out being helpful for people, which is the whole point anyway. And then that, helped me later when people did have money to come and try some Reiki with me, for sure. But I went bankrupt. I completely lost everything because I had no way to make money, and I was here in Orange Beach. And so I had to reconstitute, just regroup my life. And realize, I wasn't in Colorado. I wasn't working all the time. I wasn't making that same money. And, honestly, if Mark, takes care of my necessities. So my fear, I did have to get over a bunch of fear. I had to get over the fear of allowing someone to take care of me and be okay with that, because I had so much trauma with it in the past. I wouldn't say it was easy for me to do that.
Right.
But so there's no, I don't have anything helpful. I don't think. It's a hard way to make money. I have to be honest with you. I mean, there are people that are doing really well with it, but it's a nonstop job, much like growing marijuana. If you have a garden, you always have a garden 24/7. It's there. You are the garden at that point. If you're, if you're a healer, and so you can't be strung out, stressed out, bummed out, and be a super effective healer and make it a long-term thing. You've got to mitigate your energy consistently, which is a ton of work on its own.
Actually, and just to address what you said, that actually is very helpful to me. Growing up, we didn't have a lot. Life is a constant series of advancements and setbacks, and I think how you deal with them, you develop skills to, survive, for lack of a better term. But
yep.
to hear you, thank you for sharing that with me, because it is, one of the things we talk about in our house is that social media, while it can be really good for some things, what we always discuss is that people aren't posting their struggles much. You see a lot of smiling faces, a lot of happy moments, and I feel like it leads you to be harder on yourself, thinking that your life is worse than other people's, when in fact, I think that it's not. I think we all go through the same things, but when you look at social media, you don't see a lot of that because it's not what people are putting out into the ether. Does that make sense?
No, you are so on target. I mean, that's absolutely it. We're all human. And that's something I realized during COVID, during my time where I had to sit and surrender, right? And lose, something that wasn't, had importance, money. I liked not only to have money to support myself, but to help friends, to support friends, to give to charitable causes, all of that as well. And all of a sudden I didn't have any of that. All I had was my energy. And so sitting with that for a long time, and then thinking about everyone else and really contemplating what you're just talking about. Nobody has it easy, because we live on a planet that's duality. So, in my theory of things, which is just my theory of things. There's a million, and who knows what's really going on, but we are here to learn. And that's why it's so difficult, because you don't learn when things are easy. You learn when things are hard, and we're learning so that our souls evolve. And I do feel like we're given lessons, and we're given that same lesson over and over, worse and worse and worse until we learn it. Because I do think that we had a soul contract coming into this world where there were certain things that we are supposed to master in order for our soul to evolve. Life's not easy for anybody is what I realized. I started to think about, I went through that thing like you're talking about with the social media, going like, why? And then, I tried some things on the social media and like had some people trade, for pictures and all this. And it didn't go that great. And I didn't really like it. And then I realized, you're really just, on this very low vibration. If you really want to give all your time to this social media thing, your vibe, that's your vibration. And and like, that's not me. And yeah, started investigating it, thinking about it, and really, everybody's life is hard. We're here to learn, so nobody gets out easy. But people who are rich and famous, we're finding out, might have even way more problems.
That's
than
right.
we do.
That's right.
It's all kind of coming to the surface. I never wanted to be famous. I never wanted to live in Hollywood. All that stuff. Now I see why. It's like, how much do you want to, sell your soul for some sort of false sense of happiness or success? And, we're born into this system. And unless you take time to stop and sit outside of it and explore yourself and explore your motivation for living this life, you're just going to be stuck in the machine,
Amen.
Yeah. And that's why we love widespread panic, because that's what took me out of, said machine and got me to really investigate myself. So, no matter what happens, I love life. No matter what happens, I feel supported by spirit. And the more I trust spirit, the more I listen to spirit, my intuition, my card pulls, and truly listen to spirit, the more I feel rewarded and supported. And it's really an amazing thing. But people don't want to believe in spirit because they can't see it. And you can't take a picture of spirit and put it on Instagram. So I sold it with bikinis for a while. I was an ex-model. I wanted to sell Reiki. I knew that sex sells things. So I did a couple Maxim contests, on the Facebook, those silly things, but I sure did it. And then was using, the pictures to then talk about something deeper. And I felt like it really worked, I would put up the same content, the same words with two different pictures as like a experiment,
Yeah.
And obviously the one where you're not wearing many clothes is going to get more reactions, but it was a way to get to people. And I also wanted to show people that, there's more than the surface here. We have to look into each other more than just the surface. And that was important for me to make that point for some reason. So,
well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. How lucky is Mark to just have a full-time healer at home that he can come home?
Yeah, he gets a lot of massage, and we do I just do Reiki for him a lot.
That son of a gun.
Yeah, he's a wild one. He beat himself up growing up, so he needs me, I think.
A fair trade.
He rode dirt bikes, and it was just a maniac with himself, and has a lot of metal and things in his body. So, yeah, we like to make Mark feel. I love to make him feel comfortable and make him feel good, because I know that's hard for him.
That's great. Is there I can't believe we haven't met yet. We lived in the same town. We are obsessed with the same music. It's very odd to me that we haven't met, but we do know a lot of the same people, I've come to find. As you think about like other women or men, as the people that you've made connections with through Widespread Panic and our community, are there any people that are extra special to you that you want to maybe say something about? Anybody out there? Not to put you on the spot, but
met different layers and layers, of friends, and the crew. I love the Panic crew.
Yeah,
I've got to know them over the years. They're they're great people. And then, gotten to meet, the band over the years, and they're super nice people. And golly, yeah, no, I mean, the Tapers, I mean, I guess let's say hear it for the Tapers for sure, because
oh man, if it weren't for,
I mean, without,
go ahead, Gretchen.
yeah, without being able to hear, there were moments, when I couldn't go, and I had to stream, and without that music and that connection, I really appreciated it. So yeah, no, I really appreciate all, Z-Man and Charles and Ashley and
Bennett.
so many more. That, yes, of course, thank you, because I'm on the spot. But yeah, no, they're. Yeah, super grateful. and they got the music out, along, time ago. That's how a lot of the Panic got out, not on the radio as much, but over the tapes or whatever, We're
so fortunate, too, that the band was cool with Tapers, because I don't know if I would have latched on as much as I had if I didn't just have this crazy circulation of tapes that were coming around town, too. It was really so smart on their part to kind of take a page out of the Grateful Dead handbook and just let that ride. Yeah,
definitely. It was nonstop Panic for a really long time.
Same.
Yeah, I finally had to stop streaming like this year. I was like, I can't take it. If I'm not there, I can't take listening anymore. But I used to stream everything if I wasn't there. I mean, it was just such a connection. Again, it was that probably our crown chakras, opening up to that bigger picture, that bigger piece of energy that's happening when music is happening. And I love that. And it's such a collective of energy, and we can, I think we put out a lot of good when we get together, and thank goodness for that and for that band. And there's a lot of different bands and a lot of different groups doing the same thing, so thank goodness for all of them.
Yeah, it's so good to meet you. I'm gonna have to reach out to you. I'll make some time and definitely get with you, because I'm intrigued by what you do. But for anybody that's listening that wants to maybe get in touch with you or connect with you to learn a little bit more, potentially explore your services, what's the best way to get you?
The best way to get me, well, Facebook Messenger is a great way to contact, or Instagram Messenger. If whoever is listening is on social media, that's a great way. The Messenger is good, and then I kind of close when the system I had for the Reiki kind of collapsed. I took the LLC away, so I took away the websites and all of that stuff. And then I just started doing things for donation, and that's kind of went really well, and that's been working great. I guess Gretchen Voss at Yahoo is my main email. So Gretchen, GretchenVoss as in Sam at yahoo.com is a great email for me as well.
Awesome. Well,
thank you. So much fun.
Yeah, I'm so happy to meet you finally. We've got some mutual friends. I know everybody's excited to kind of hear what we put together, and selfishly, I've got some things that I want to work on with myself. So I'm going to hog you out of myself. But no, it's really great. You come highly recommended, Gretchen Voss. Thank you for being you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being you. We're all here. We're gonna get through it together. Do you want to pull a card real quick over our conversation, or do you need to go?
For sure.
Okay. These are the ones that kept coming to my intuitions. I brought them up. It was a fun conversation. Yeah, it's great to meet people, how this community helps us to continue to meet people and evolve, and it's really rich with beautiful personalities, that's for sure.
I agree.
Ooh. So the fifth Archangel, Gabriel, and this card is representing the fifth chakra. We were talking about the chakra system, and this one's representing the throat. I love that, because we're like, you probably have a great throat chakra. Yes. So I'll just read a little bit, and then we can go. But
okay.
It's, so self-expression, speaking your truth. Archangel Gabriel is sending powerful powerful energy to your throat center, acknowledging your power to communicate and your readiness to do so. This angel opens you up to truthful expression, both with yourself and others. If you have had trouble with expressing your emotions or ideas in the past, Gabriel is here to tell you that your soul longs to take the leap now. Be aware that true communication includes how you speak to yourself, so never deny your profound integral value. Speak up for yourself. Write in your journal, let your words flow. Now is the time to express yourself freely and fully. The universe always honors your choice to do so. Here you go.
You just gave me chills. I can't wait to connect.
Yay! I love it. I got goosebumps too. Yeah, the goosebumps are they're a big sign. I get them a lot, and they're definitely from spirit, and it's a beautiful thing. So I can't wait to explore spirit further with you. Thank you again for having me. It was really an honor.
Oh, the honor is all mine. Thank you so much, Gretchen, and I hope people reach out to you because I am a believer in alternative ways of healing. So I couldn't be more excited to connect.
So awesome. Well, I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great evening.
You too, Gretchen.
Thanks so much. Great. Bye-bye.
Oh, she's beautiful, cooking in the diner today. No, she won't show the bother anytime she gets covered in blue.